What's up, everybody? Uh, I interviewed slash it wasn't really an interview. I texted my buddy Kristian Harloff, who a lot of you guys might know, and we talked a lot about grief and death. And Kristian and I, he left me a voicemail when my brother passed and said, it's the worst club in the world to be a part of because Kristian also lost his brother. And it's been a few years for Kristian. It's been over a little over a month for me. And I promise that Kristian and I will talk about movies and TV and do some fun stuff down the line, either here or on his channel. But I wanted to talk to him about just this crapville that I'm in. So he was awesome enough to just take 20 minutes, 25 minutes of his day and kind of talk to me about it. So here is a little bit of a conversation with me and Kristian Harloff, and I hope you enjoy it. And subscribe to the channel. And I hate when I just dart my eyes around and don't hit it. Subscribe to the channel, do the things. In the link below, you help support the show. I would love to be able to make a living doing this, and to be able to do that, I need all of your help to do more videos every single day, more live streams every day, more big videos, more small videos, more quick videos, everything in between. So any little bit helps. So thank you very much. Without further ado, here's me and Kristian Harloff. The shit that I've been going through lately,
yeah,
there aren't many people out there that get this, right?
Yeah.
I think, there's a lot of people that have had death in their life and but I think in my immediate friends, people talk about their parents and they talk about, certain family members, but I don't know, there's something about a brother relationship that's different than most things. And you lost your brother, what, now 4 years ago?
No, man, 2018.
Oh,
2018. Wow. It was a shit month. It was 3 weeks after Schnepp.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's right.
It was Schnepp. We lost Schnepp in July, and then my brother was August. So it was between 2 or 3 weeks of that time. Yeah. So it was I told you, and it's the same thing. My friend Evan, who reached out to me afterwards, who also lost his brother, he said the same thing. And our we have other friends, Owen, that are in. It said it's the shittiest club in the world to be in, and nobody wants to be in it. But when you're in it, it's like you talking to those people that get it, and you have an understand. That's why people, when I saw your post, I just knew that I was there. It's like everybody's reaching out to you because everybody cares and loves you. But it's and at the same time, you're taking all those texts and you're going, I appreciate all of it, but it's too much. It's too much to deal with because it's because it's exhausting. The amount of emotion that you have to go through first to process it, plus the fact that you got to do it all over with every single person you're talking to. Then you got to hear the grief in everybody's voice. You also realize they don't know what to say to you, and then it's it's that whole thing. And I remember your reaction very clear to when my brother passed because I saw you didn't really know what to say, and I didn't take it as anything except I saw the care in your eyes, I saw the passion, but I also saw it as I don't ever want to go through this. I saw it in your eyes. I saw that day of that, and because I think that your brother had been sick at that point, or close. There were things that were going on with him that I'm not sure at that moment, but I just knew it in your eyes. You're just I don't know what to say, and I don't want to ever go through this, and I don't want my friend to be going through this. If it sucks.
And I think the hard part for some people too is how many people said if there's anything I can do, let me know, right? And if there and I, again, like you said, I appreciate the sentiments. I appreciate everybody that reaches out and that has reached out has always said kind things. I mean, I've gone through Ben's been sick for 6 years, right? He's been sick for 6 years. And I think right around the time, like you said, that your brother had passed, I think Ben had just been diagnosed,
right?
So it was an equally shitty time. And it's hard to look death in the face, right?
Yeah.
And it's why I don't really smoke weed anymore, do we? Because I even take edibles because it messes with my brain.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, same. And you question your own. Look, we both gone through a place where we're both wild people in our lifetime, and it's like,
Yes.
when you're in your early 20s, you don't think anything can, and not even just with yourself, is anyone around you. It's like,
Right.
and when it really gets that close, you're like, wait a minute. You start to look around. And that's, I mean, look, it's cliche, but it is life. It is what happens within life. Like spiritually, I mean, this is a whole other conversation. This stuff that I'm going through spiritually, and the way that I look at things of potentially with consciousness and all these other things is completely different and more radical, some would say, than I did 5 years ago, right? And that's just from experiences and things that you go through.
Yeah, I think it's what because I think that there's people that mean to say the right things to you, right?
Yeah.
Like I mentioned in a previous video, my sister-in-law sent me this video of Billy Bob Thornton, and he said, my life has never been the same since my brother died. I'm 50% happy and 50% sad at any given moment, right?
Yeah.
And I also think that like people want to say things to like fill the air,
Yeah.
right? And a lot of times it's more like listening than it is anything. And it's also like saying things like it's God's plan or like everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Like drives me fucking bonkers.
I know. And they're trying to say the right thing, but it's like they don't know, and they think that because look, everybody looks at things differently. Also, to some people, I'm with you on that side of it. Just like, yeah, you don't know what the plan is. You don't know. You don't know if it happened for a reason. Like, that's not what I want to hear. But there are other people that does provide comfort to, right? There are people, but you don't. But the problem is, in a situation like that, you don't know who that is going to take it that way, or is going to take it the way that you took it. So. For me, like, and unfortunately, the reason why I feel like I knew kind of what to say to you is because I was in that position. And it's just like, I was like, this guy doesn't want to be bothered right now. He just wants to be able to be in his own thoughts. He'll talk to his family, talk to his wife. He'll hug his daughter, and he'll hug his nieces and nephews, and that's what he'll do. And that will give him the comfort. And then look, it's really weird what grief is, right? Because it's like, it's this weird thing. The first time I actually ever felt this kind of grief was actually when I don't know if you ever met Taz, my dog, my pug. I don't know if he had passed, but I remember when I was very close to my dog. And I remember this strange, like the feeling of it where it was like he had just passed and I was in the shower and like, it's like it's almost like a cut. And like this stuff flows out of you when you're crying or you're letting it loose. And it's just like, it's like a cleansing. And it's like, it's not like, it's so different. Like when you're watching a movie or you get into whatever it was, when you're crying at whatever reason. But this particular, for a grief cry. And then I had prepared myself through Taz that when it happened, because when my brother had passed, I was on the plane on the way back, and God bless Mark Ellis, who's just one of the greatest human beings in the history of the planet. It was like I had to fly to Florida like the next day, and Mark's like, don't worry about it. The next day I knew in my inbox had got me a first class ticket to Florida, and I'm sitting on the plane and I'm able to I'm just sitting listening with my headphones on, and this just started pouring out of me. I had to put my hat down, obviously, because who knows what the crying dude on the corner is going through. What's that guy gonna do? So, but I had like
a bomb.
Why is he crying? Is his last moments? What's he doing? Why is he crying?
What's going on?
So I'm just like kind of going down like this. But I was listening to music, and it felt like it was just flowing, like it was coming out, and it doesn't. His anniversary was August 6th, and I was walking the dog. I was listening to music that I always listen to, and it doesn't. And I said it to you in text. You're like, "Oh, it's getting better." I said, "It gets better, but it never goes away, and you don't want it to go away. You don't want it to go away."
There's certain triggers. I mean, it's obviously still very new.
Of course.
I was talking to my mom and my dad. My dad said, we're really struggling, and I was like, well, I think we're supposed to struggle. I don't think this is, especially this early. We're planning his celebration of life, which is next weekend, and a lot of family and friends and people coming out. And I I have like, Ben and I had a very, he was just he and I, right? And we were 2 years apart, and we were in every grade, basically every school together. Through high school, we went to college together. We never really lived far apart, and even when we did, we made it a point to try and see each other as often as possible. But like these last 6 years, for better or worse, we were able to spend a ton of time together.
Yeah.
And so, there's so many, like, there's just a lot of triggers, right? And there's,
of course.
There's dates, and there's things of that nature. And like you said, it never goes away. I don't, like you said, I don't want it to go away. Right. I'm here, in it. I feel like that when you're dealing with grief, and maybe you have a certain aspect on this, is like, when you're dealing with grief, you feel lucky that you have the memories to grieve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's also this anger in you that you don't have more memories to make.
100%. Yeah. Look, I called my mom on that day, and I was like, I should have done more. I should have been there. I should have done this. She's like, don't do that. You can't do that. You can't, like, it's like, you gotta, the things that were there and the things that beforehand, like, that's because that will drive you nuts. That'll drive you nuts. Like, you said it best. You were able to spend the time that you spent with him, and you're able to do, like take that. You know what I mean? Like, take all that stuff. You guys had a great relationship. What pains me just hearing it is that, and I'm sure now as a dad, you feel the same thing. My heart breaks for your parents as well, because that's the thing. I don't ever want. I want to be way gone before to lose a child is just not. I can't even. I don't. It's not something I ever want to even fathom. And the fact that your parents had to go through it, my parents had to go through it, and it's like that kind of pain. Like, that's pain I don't want to know. I never want to know. I saw my parents go through it. You've seen your parents go through it. So, like, struggling, yes, it is tough, and it's definitely tough as siblings to go through it. But, like, their struggle, I can't even imagine it. I can't even imagine. I don't want to imagine it, and my heart breaks for them, obviously. And their struggle is definitely different, but the same in certain aspects, but different than you and I.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, again, this has been a crazy alone journey, a together journey, right? The disease, the cancer that ravaged my brother was, it was a roller coaster, man. And so to watch my parents have to go through it from up close and from distance, and all of that, it's really hard as a son to know what to say, right? Sure. And to do. I think we're Italian, so like the acts of service is like sometimes our love language, right?
Yeah.
It's just like doing all the things and trying to say all the things and trying to bring a general sense of positivity and happiness to every situation that I can.
Yeah.
Because we can't all be dying, right?
Yeah.
I think that there is, from like my mom and dad's perspective, and like you talked about, I mean, the thought of even like my kid getting sick is terrifying,
yeah.
Right? And so there's just so many layers to grief and to death, right? And I think the really the hardest part, and you said it to me in that voicemail, which I saved, was like, everybody just goes through this different.
Yeah.
And it's a very lonely journey, because you have all the people around you that are constantly asking for it, but like there's only one person that can do it, and it's you.
Right. Yeah, it's true. It's like, because you've got to go, as I was telling you, when it comes to like letting that stuff pour out, because you've got to go through your own mental kind of gymnastics, of what the things that you'll blame yourself for, which is not warranted, but it doesn't mean you're not going to do it. The things that you are going to laugh about, that's going to turn that into tears, because you're going to feel like, oh, either A, that was such a great memory and I love it so much, and shit, I'm not going to be able to have that again. But it's always there. It's always it's there for you. But you go through things in a way that you have to make it work and fit it into your life. You have other responsibilities now. The thing that you said to me, which honestly like broke my heart, but I understood it, and at the same time, it also made me very happy for them. And where I saw you at the Comedy Store, and we were talking, and you were letting me know that Ben was not doing well, and that it was you were kind of bracing yourself for it.
Yeah.
But because I had asked you, I think the reason that conversation led in, because I asked you if you and your wife were planning on having another child, and you said that you were pretty much going to be, looking after your Ben's kids. And like I said, it was this kind of like fuck for me at first, but then it was also, I got this real sense of happiness for these kids also, because I know you, and I know, especially after this, like they're not gonna be able to get you out of their lives.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna be everywhere. You're gonna be everywhere, and you're gonna be, it's, and so that's, and I think that's probably, I mean, I'm obviously not gonna speak for your brother, but I'm sure that was probably one of the eases for him in all this, knowing, because that always terrifies me. Like, God forbid something happens to me. It's like, I know that my brother would step up and do some stuff, and I know my family would, but like, I know that relationship that you guys have, and it's like, he probably that probably put him at ease until knowing that Josh's got him. Josh got him.
Yeah. You didn't. I know that your brother's death was very sudden.
Yeah.
And my brother's death was something that I kind of had to witness over a very long period of time. Obviously, I'm not like, there's no like better way of going about this. But there has to be times when you just don't believe that it actually happened.
Yeah, it's different, because it's like where my brother was going through a lot. And so when there's just so much that he had, and there was so much that he was hilarious. He was an incredibly talented musician. He just had a lot going on in the tank up here, and there was, and there are times that I just was like waiting for him to pick up the phone and make a stupid phone call and say, like, I have a voicemail that I haven't gotten rid of that he's just talking about the kids and everything too. And it's like, yeah, there's times that I can't believe that it's been, 6 years like that. And it's just like, it goes, my daughter was talking about in general, like life, she's like, life just goes so fast. She's my daughter, who's 12 going on 50, but she's almost 13. And she was like, Dad, I was having a bit of a bummer today. She's like, I feel like I'm going to get old soon. I go, it's not going to happen for a long time. She's like, yeah, but it's like, I'm going to be a kid and I don't want to have to, you and Mom are always worried about taxes and this and that and that. And I'm like, again, she's like, I don't feel like there's anything in your adulthood to get excited about. I'm like, wait until you're in your 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Excited about that.
You get excited about that. And it's like, but it's like, but and it's, you go through, but she's like, it goes fast. And I was like, you're right. It does. It goes fast, but you just got to savor every little moment that you have. And, it's just, it's a shitty part of life that there's things, and it as well as I do. This ain't our last taste of loss. You know what I mean? Like, as we get older, there's more. And it's almost like this stupid, like almost like lottery of like, who's next? Shit.
Right.
Because our parents are getting older. People around us are getting older. There's other things. It gets like, it's the part that you got to try to accept. And it does come down to that question though, where you start to, because it plays into it of overall, like what you think happens. Right? Like that's inevitable to think about when it's, because you go, where the fuck did he go? Where is he? Right. Of course you think that. And whatever your belief is your belief. Whatever my belief is my belief. But like, I think that can either put you at ease or drive you crazy, depending on what it is.
Yeah. I don't know where I stand at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's my belief structure is very much somewhat open and not, I'm going to say open-ended. It's more like, confused, I guess is the word.
Of course.
I don't subscribe to a plan. Like, no God would do what was done to my brother. Mm-hmm. Right. And watching him suffer like he did for so long, was, ungodly, to say it. And so I have a lot of trouble there. I have the hopes that I don't want it to be the end, right? I want to believe that, like when I die, I get to see my brother again,
Mm-hmm.
right? I had a dream like 4 nights ago that he was in, and it was very, very vivid. And it's that, I mean, I woke up sobbing, and Amanda was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, like that dream was just too much
I
to
think
handle.
there's more to that personally. I mean, that's my
Yeah,
my thought. But like, so, unfortunately, I've had more loss in my life that I even like to try to revisit. But
right.
one of my good friends from, and I told you before about my friend Brian Cascia, who was the
Yeah,
whole
he
reason
died
that I,
9/11, right?
yeah, he was the
Yeah,
whole reason that I kind of got involved in comedy and learning my creativity. Was he was the guy that had his dad owned a video store, and it was called Video Wizard. It was amazing. And he had like
love it.
laser disc before anybody else. I saw the first Terminator display. It's like all that stuff. And so he passed away. He was on the Cantor Fitzgerald, the
Oh,
103rd
okay.
floor when the first plane hit. So I like to believe that he went like that. But that happened, and then I can't remember how long after. It wasn't very far away from when I found out that he passed. That I had a dream about him. We were walking on Bell Boulevard, which is in Bayside in Queens, where we grew up together,
Yeah.
and we were having just a conversation. And we were talking for a bit. And we were laughing. We were having a good time. And he turns to me and he goes, "I'm dead, right?" And I woke up,
Oh,
and it was like, and I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I know." And then I woke
yeah,
up, and I was like,
yeah,
It was about as clear as me talking to you right now. And I've been reading up on other shit again. Like I said, it's a whole other podcast, but I've been reading up on things about how with dreams and other things of people that have been, and wow, consciousness works and other things too. That I think that because, as I mentioned to get into this line of the conversation, is that my thought process goes into different places of what I think happens and where things go to things I didn't believe, and where I did at one point go, lights go off and that's it.
right,
And who knows what I'll think in 5 years from now? I don't know. But
right,
you just go through different things from different experiences that you have. So the amount of stuff that's going on in your head right now, who the hell knows? Like what
right.
you're thinking. So it's like one thing you're thinking, it's this, or maybe it could be that. And it's just, you got to just find the thing that, as simple as it is, right? Or not simple, but I should say, but as simple as it sounds, that puts you at ease to go, okay, I can succumb to that right now.
Sure. That's what I was going to ask you. Is like, when do you have any coping mechanisms? Like, what helps you when you're feeling super sad? Because I mean, I would imagine, obviously, I'm in it at the
Yeah.
moment, and it
Yeah.
will get a little bit easier here and there. But when super sad days happen, like what helps you?
Let it flow out, dude. Put it on. Put some music on. And what I do, actually, I put the saddest freaking music on possible to let it all, like, it's got to feel like a wound where it's all just coming out. And it's like, because if it's in there, look, I paid the price, and you were there. I paid the price for letting that shit sit for a year. I took that shit out on air, and I still fucking hear about it. And it's like, and because for a year I bought it, I didn't talk to anybody about it. I just let it sit.
Yeah,
And then what would happen is I didn't do that. I didn't do the let it flow out. I said, I passed it to the side. I said, it'll go away. I said, it'll go away. I said, I got to work. I got to work. I got to work. That's how I got to get away from it. I got to work. And then I would do that. And I had like pent up frustration, pent up anger, took it into work and said, I'm not doing that again. Almost fucking lost all my shit by doing that. So you got to be able to not say, oh, well, I can't deal with it. You have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. And you got to, and that's why what I've been doing now is, like I said, I just, on August 6th, I put on David B. You remember David B. Did the music for Schmodown and did some stuff for
yeah,
us for
yeah,
Collider.
yeah.
So it was for the anniversary of my brother for one of the years. My brother was a musician. I had all of his music and piano and stuff, and I sent it to David, and David made a rendition of my brother's music, and it's beautiful what he did, and I have it, and I listen to it every August 6th, and it allows me to do that. It allows me to say, like how one of the coping things, as you say, and that's not just on that particular day, but I'm just saying there's other things that I'll listen to. It's like if you're feeling that thing, and like I said before, hug your daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go and hug your wife. Like do like one of those things to where it's just there's other things you'll find. The answer is you'll find your own, But that's just kind of the stuff that I did, and if that can help you, then I hope it does.
My guy, I appreciate you taking a little bit of time.
Of course.
I miss you.
Yeah, same, man. Your parents are near you, right?
They're in Pittsburgh now, but they come out a lot more often now. Yeah.
Okay.
They'll come out and stay for like 2 or 3 weeks. And
That's
go back
good.
to Pittsburgh for a few weeks.
That's good.
They need their people in Pittsburgh, and they need their people in California. And so, while they're still able to travel, I mean, they're not even, I mean, sort of, but they're older, like you said, parents getting older, all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's a shock to the system, even though we knew it was happening, but it's now just become like a figuring out of new normals kind of a situation.
Yeah.
And we kind of just, you know, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time. Like I was talking to my sister-in-law a couple days ago, and it was like, you know, I have good days overall, but I have just like really tough moments, right?
Yeah.
And I have it's such a huge piece of your life taken out.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, it's like your best friend.
Yeah. For me, it's like, you know, we had the same sense of humor, so we sent each other a lot of the same videos, and we made fun of a lot of the same people. We said a lot of the same stupid shit.
Right. Of course. Yeah, of course. And then
we love the same movies, and we love the same TV shows. And, you know, I said it in another video, you know, like, never doubt the power of a good movie, right?
Sure.
Or good TV. Is we had so much time of him just being stuck in bed that we watched so much TV and so many movies, and we were able to watch the new Bad Boys.
Oh, that's good. Good.
You know,
good.
Well, he was still with it, which was good.
Well, that's a great point, though. That's a great point, because it's like, you know, it's amazing how, like, movies and TV, you know, that has that where you can remember seeing certain things, and now those movies will mean so much more to you every time.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like, you'll watch that new one knowing, like, that'll have so much more significance to you than it will a lot of different people. You know,
100%.
Yeah, it's great. How are his kids doing?
They're hanging in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're. And
how old are they?
It runs the range. So my little niece is 14. She's a freshman in high school.
Okay.
So that's tough. Luke is 12.
Okay, that's tough.
He's in 6th grade.
Yeah.
And then Jenny's 8. And then my youngest nephew Bo is 4.5. So it's a lot of ages.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah. And then, so I'm assuming the 14-year-old's probably having the toughest time.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's tough, man. Well, good, but they got you.
Yeah.
They got you. That's great, and Amanda. So that's great. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I love you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I told you, man. Like, same thing. You know, on this thing, other things, you can always, like, when you're ready. I know, like, and that, it comes down to, and Owen was very gracious in saying the same thing to me. Is that, like, sometimes one of those things, man. Like, if you're going through it, and this could be from 2 years from now, and you're like, whoa, where'd that? Because it does. It comes. You'll be prepared for that. You'll be sitting. You'll have a great day. You're in a great day. The freaking Steelers probably just won. All these different things happen, and then it just hits you, and you're like, "Where'd that come from?" You can always say, "Dude, I need to talk to somebody. Call me up."
Okay.
So, all right, homie, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon.
All right, man.
All right, homie.
buddy.
All right, later. Let me stop.
All right, so there you have it. Just a general conversation. I know maybe some of you are like, is he going to keep talking about the death of his brother over and over again? And, you know, I think if you lose somebody in your life, it's all you really want to talk about at first. Maybe it isn't something you want to talk about, but it is. It's how I'm getting through it with people in my life that I love and that have gone through something like this. And so that's why we did it. You know, like I always say, it's taken a lot out of me every single day to choose positivity, to choose happiness and all of that, but I'm continuing to do it. So you do it as well. Choose it. It's an active choice. Call somebody, text them, tell them you love them. It matters. It's way easier to love than hate. Find the good, and I'll see you when I see you.